Good evening, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, and those who have lost ones and those who are in the process of losing ones, loved ones. As we enter into the holiday season, we are painfully reminded that someone is missing from the table. However, remember this, they're still residing within your heart with you, watching your every move, enjoying and in celebrating your every achievement and every accomplishment. The loss of a loved one, whether it be your parents, your siblings, or even your beloved pet, it is a very painful experience. The emptiness and the pain we feel cannot be erased. The grieving process is unique to everyone. As we all have our personal journey, find some solace some folks find solace in remaining silent. They don't want to talk about it. While others find comfort, like my brother, in talking to everybody about it. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. It's a personal journey. Today I stand here to share my experience at this amazing candlelight service of remembrance brought to you by Reardon. I personally was very excited to hear about it, and I shared it with my 7 siblings who didn't understand the journey that my parents were on once they were on the journey. I work for a company that provides healthcare, home health and hospice care. And I have the privilege of meeting people and understanding their journey, whether they fall, break a hip, and they need therapy and rehab, and they get better, or they go through treatment and they don't get better. Grief comes in all stages. All we can do, me personally, is I learn to listen and just be present. But we all want to fix things, recognizing that we're not medical professionals, not a doctor, not a pharmacist. Life is a journey. And personally, I'm learning to understand the grief. 3 years ago, on December 5th, I unexpectedly lost my mother. My sister reminded me that day. She kept telling her, "Mom, warning comes before destruction." That day, my mother decided she did not want to go to the hospital. She was feeling ill. And we thought, her blood pressure's up. It's time for her to go to the hospital. She said, "No, there are germs there." This was in the middle of COVID. And it puzzled me at first. And I was like, why doesn't she want to go to the doctor and get help? But then I remembered, even though she refused, she told me 7 days prior to that, if my maker comes get me, let me go. And I didn't get it. Looking back, she had a premonition. During those 7 days, she said, "Let me go." I think at that time she knew something was about to happen, and I just needed to let her go. Her words were profoundly impactful for me, and I still wonder why she told me. She had 7 other kids she could have told that story to, but I was the one always listening. But I knew she was ready. She was ready to move on. In moments of sadness, I find solace in revisiting her pictures, her videos. Remember the lessons that she taught me? She would always say, "Smile, Mrs. Carter. Don't talk too much, Mrs. Carter. Listen to your husband, Miss Carter." Those words comfort me while I grieve. Losing my father was a different experience. He battled cancer, enduring 2 years of treatment before he finally succumbed to his disease. The doctors predicted it would be 14 days to live. But yet, with the care of love and hospice, he persevered for another 5 months. And I remember telling him I wanted to pursue comedy and joke about our family because they were all insane during this treatment. My brother, who's a PhD, and he works out at Northridge Hospital uh, College, he would always say, Dr. Hackett is calling. And he wanted to change my father's regimen. And I kept telling him, he's really not a real doctor. He's not. And it was funny, but that's where I found out that we could joke with my dad. And I told him, I said, I'm going to become a comedian and talk about your kids. And he said, you should do it. And I've been doing comedy for the last 10 years. And I talk about his family. Every show is dedicated to my father because he understood that half the kids understood the journey, the other half did not. And the one person who understood it best was me because I worked for a hospice company. I kept asking them to read the book and understand the journey of what he was going to experience. Whether my brother kept going to all the gurus who could make probiotics and yogurt that was going to save his life, even though he wasn't hungry. I was honored to be that child that listened and understood what he wanted me to do. And that was just to be there. As I stand before you and I think about this candlelight remembrance, I remember the good times. I remember the bad times. I remember when no one was there to help me, help him. And it was scary. But I do know that he's with me every day in my heart. Whether we experience the loss, the grief is unavoidable. And it's a part of life. How we navigate through that process is what truly matters. I am thankful for the opportunity to share this story with all of you. And I hope my words can bring you comfort, love, and light during this holiday season. Remember, the first Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday, or any significant days will be undoubtedly challenging. We will never completely get over our loss, and the void will always be present. However, time does make it become easier. Let us cherish the time we have, for it is something that we can never reclaim. Embrace every moment and never take it for gratitude. Thank you so much. My name is Denise Carter.